Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the vertex in the fifth house in a natal chart. Now, first thing off, as far as the vertex in the fifth house in a natal chart goes, well, you may be encouraged, coaxed, cajoled, persuaded, or in some cases even downright implored to attend to fifth house matters such as children's needs, matters pertaining to romance, love, perhaps even be willing to be more involved in things of a speculative nature, such as gambling. You may also be asked to put more emphasis on your love life, and especially, of course, if it does need attention to. Now, you also may be pulled toward toward just general enjoyment, hobbies, creative endeavors. Now, people also, they may just simply be asking you to get more enjoyment and fun out of life. Now, you also may be drawn and pulled toward getting more personal recognition and accolades for your achievements, to be noticed for things that you do and you accomplish, to perhaps be lauded and praised for those efforts. Now, also, it may be about being encouraged to go out and doing something, well, sports related. It could be about being persuaded and encouraged to do things of amusement, things connected with entertainment. You may be asked to go to amusement parks, to video game locations, and just maybe play games like board games or computer games. That covers a wide divergence of things, of course. Now, it's also important to look at the sign that the vertex is in the fifth house, as this could impact the delineation, of course. Now, let's say, for example, that you have the vertex in the fifth house in Scorpio. Well, you may be implored, asked, encouraged, and coaxed perhaps to take up a Scorpio-like hobby, perhaps such as astrology, the occult, supernatural, magic, alchemy, maybe recycling even, if you could see that as a hobby, maybe rebuilding, transforming cars, tarot reading, locksmithing, even maybe doing this as kind of like a hobby on the side. Another example could be, let's say you have vertex in Virgo in the fifth house. Well, this could be where you may be encouraged to be more punctilious with details and matters connected with children, love, and romance, maybe using extrapolation of data in connection with sports like fantasy football, for example, projecting statistical information for players, and also about maybe being more scrupulous regarding or show more concern for children's health, perhaps, if that is, say, if it is vertex in Virgo in the fifth house in a natal chart. Now, also, aspects to the vertex are also, aspects to the vertex in the fifth house are also significant, as this could impact the delineation as well. Now, let's say, for example, that you have Pluto in adverse aspect to the vertex in the fifth house in your natal chart. Well, vertex in the fifth by itself could suggest you may be encouraged to do things more of a gambling and speculative nature, but at the same time, if Pluto is making an adverse aspect to it, you have to be careful that this doesn't lead to some kind of compulsive gambling and being overly fixated and obsessed on it. So that is something to look at. Now, also looking at the vertex in the fifth house in a natal chart, it's also, I mean, looking at it in synastry. Well, let's say, I mean, you have vertex in the fifth house in your natal chart. This could be perhaps, I mean, let's say you have this in conjunction to someone's sun, moon, or ascendant. Well, this could simply, it could indicate a powerful connection with someone, but not necessarily as instantaneous like someone's south node making a conjunction to another sun, moon, or ascendant. This could be I mean, but that being said, if you do have this connection, it would be rather more unanticipated and unexpected, something that would happen where you wouldn't feel that connection like really instantaneously, but as the relationship or connection developed and evolved, you would feel it more at a little bit of later point from the time that you actually met. Now, the thing about it is, let's say, for example, that you have your vertex in the 5th house in your natal chart, and it makes a conjunction to another person's ascendant. Well, this could be where you may be attracted to the outer qualities the ascendant person is projecting. And being in the 5th house, this could be something that could really be connected with perhaps true love and strong romance, but is not necessarily exclusive to it. It could be somebody that you might meet, that you just share maybe a common hobby with, or some kind of thing of amusement that you're both interested in, or maybe you meet at some kind of entertainment venue, or I should say, maybe like something associated with entertainment, like at a movie or something, or at a concert. Anyway, or maybe you share a creative endeavor together, but at the same time, it could still be a powerful and significant connection nonetheless. When you have the vertex conjunct one's sun, moon, or ascendant, it could indicate a fated, ordained, and destined type of meeting. So anyway, another thing to look at as far as this goes, well, the transits to the vertex can be significant as well. I mean, let's say that you have transit Uranus making a conjunction to your natal vertex in your 5th house. Well, this could be somebody that you may. There's a chance, strong chance of meeting somebody, a fated, destined, ordained, mean perhaps with somebody that that might be very eclectic, ingenious, unorthodox, or could even be somebody that might be a foreigner. It could be an unusual connection, and it's somebody being in the 5th house. It could be somebody that you truly enjoy being around, or somebody that you meet with some shared creative outlet or endeavor, somebody you meet, that shares the hobby that you may have. But anyway, another thing is, as far as this goes, look at contraindicators in your natal chart, and also things that may reaffirm and really are, they're more so they're similar things that would help reaffirm, if you will, this placement with as far as vertex in the 5th house in the natal chart goes. Now, let's say, for example, maybe some contraindicators could be, let's say that you have your Venus making very strongly afflicted. That could indicate you might have difficulty with fun, amusement, enjoyment, and it could show that you really might need that encouragement and coaxing from others to do something more of fun and enjoyment. I mean, I have Saturn in the squaring my Venus in my natal chart, and if you have like Saturn making an major adverse aspect to your Venus, a lot of times it could indicate that responsibilities, and maybe there's something that's limiting or restricting your life, might be getting in the way perhaps of having that fun and that enjoyment, that amusement, and enjoyment in life in general. Now, and perhaps even that love as well in your life. So that's significant other perhaps. Now, and say you could also look for things that might reaffirm this and really make it easier to follow up on what is encouraged by others in connection with the vertex in the 5th house in a natal chart. Now, if Venus, say, makes a lot of good aspects, predominantly good aspects, it might be easier to follow up and be encouraged to have that enjoyment in your life and follow up on it. Jupiter in the 5th house could be very fortuitous. for that. That could be a very lucky placement in terms of your enjoyment, your love, and your romance in your life. And especially, I think, like, say if it makes a trine to your ascendant. I mean, those qualities, that happiness you get from the exuberance and enthusiasm in love in your life, could be projected very well through your outer self, which of course is the ascendant, your outer demeanor. It could show, and others could really see that you're expressing a lot of enjoyment from that. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the vertex in the 5th house in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about the vertex in the 6th house in a natal chart. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.